going on, everybody? Let's talk sports fans. This is Let's Talk Pucks with myself, Jim Biringer, and John Restano here on the Let's Talk Sports Network, Sideline Sports as well. John, Stanley Cup final wrapped up. The hockey season on the ice is over, and the Vegas Golden Knights are 2023 Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, and it was the way I guess you were saying, and you know, it did end the way, you know, it was basically a big brother, little brother thing, and boy, Florida got banged up bad.
Oh, man, Florida took a beating, man. Like, before we even get to Florida, let's talk about Vegas for a second. I mean, entering the series, like Vegas, we talked about it, bigger team, faster team, just a better team, and when they want to take over games, they did. Look, Florida, give credit to Florida. They played hard in Game 5 for about a period and a half. But I go to the two TV timeouts in the first period, the first one in the second period. That allowed Vegas to calm things down and get to their game. And then they just got going in the second period.
Amazing. We're both East Coast guys here. I did not have the respect I should have had of that team. Wow. You said it. They come in waves, and I saw it. I mean, really, how much Vegas hockey did I watch this year? You know, we're out here East. I caught as much as I can, but geez, they really just after Edmonton, it just took off, and they could do whatever they wanted. Well coached, the whole thing. Neutral zone, even if they wanted to, they could just shut it down. They did everything.
Yeah, and everybody talks about Bruce Cassidy's system and defensive hockey, but look, they averaged 3.5 goals per game. They scored 9 in the final. They were averaging 5 goals in the final. If you do it over the 5 games, they scored 25 goals. But they defended so well, and that's the thing. Like, they had a big defense. They have, you have Martinez, you have Pietrangelo, McNabb, all those guys on the back end. They're not getting pushed around. Florida was trying to push this team around, and they couldn't do it. Vegas was just swatting them away. They were just playing, and they could play up-tempo hockey. They want to play defensive hockey. They're going to clog the neutral zone. But they're also, I don't think they take advantage of their opportunities, but they can do that too, but they also are aggressive, and they can get there and forecheck and just roll 4 lines. And realistically, that's what they did in the second period of Game 5.
Yeah, the rolling of 4 lines, man. It didn't matter. I agree. The fourth line was incredible. The Alec Martinez is so good, and I didn't even realize what a good defender he is. He's unreal. And just putting it back to watching Florida through the Eastern Conference, it was just funny how the 3 teams they played, including Boston, just weren't as tough as this Vegas team. They could not get through, and they just, like you said, they swatted them.
They just swatted them away. If you want to play tougher, you could play tougher. If you didn't, they could go up and down the ice. And when you outscore your opponents 34-11 in the second period, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, they put 4 spot up. And they basically put the game away in the second period. I mean, Florida gets a goal, but from that TV timeout, and our buddy Zig Fracassi, Sirius XM, we're going back and forth on Twitter. I put it out there. He liked it. We were talking about it. And he's like, dude, spot on with the second TV timeout. It helped them out, and they got their game going. Marchessault keeps everything on the bench. Marchessault named Conn Smythe Trophy winner, playoff MVP, 13 goals, 25 points, the original Golden Misfit. Oh, funny stat here. He has 13 goals, ties Leon Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl lost in the second round of the playoffs.
That's sick. Yeah, and that's whatever, I don't want to say it's condemnation, but maybe of Edmonton, because that's just unbelievable to have that kind of a player. And Marchessault, I forgot this just because – a Florida guy, right? Came from the Panthers and comes back and wins the Conn Smythe.
So, question for you, a little hockey trivia for those watching and listening to this. Do you know who the Florida Panthers protected in the expansion draft, and they lost Jonathan Marchessault and Riley Smith?
Oh, geez. No, off the top of my head, I cannot say.
Alex Petrovic.
Oh, I should have known that. Yeah, God.
He was like a rising defenseman, and they wanted to keep him. So not only do they lose Riley Smith, they lose Jonathan Marchessault too.
Yeah. Well, that's
Vegas took advantage of the system that was given to them because these GMs weren't smart enough to realize what they were going after. Now, look, along the way, did anybody expect Vegas to make it to Stanley Cup final? I don't even think they expected to be in the Stanley Cup final in 2018. It happened. They got on this run, misfits, us against the world, all that stuff. And I think them going to the final changed the mentality of that team to where we have to be in win now mode all the time because we have to get back here. And look, give credit to George McPhee, give credit to Kelly McCrimmon, addressing needs from that final. Oh, number one center? All right, no problem. We'll just go get that Geico. Defenseman, no problem. We'll get Pietrangelo, add Martinez, we'll add Mark Stone. We'll trade away first-round draft picks. We'll trade away guys that we drafted so we can get these players. Oh, don't forget, we'll make tough decisions. We'll get rid of George. We'll get rid of Gerard Gallant. We'll get rid of Pete DeBoer. We'll bring in Bruce Cassidy. We'll move out Max Pacioretty. We'll move all these guys out and to get to this team. We'll trade. We'll get Marc-Andre Fleury's out the door too. By the way, don't worry about that. They're in the winning business, and McCrimmon said that. And anybody who takes fault with Vegas winning in 6 years, you have to understand the owner, Bill Foley, West Point guy. That's the standard, man. Like when these guys graduate from there, it's all business for them.
And I'll tell you what else too. Barbashev, a great addition. They didn't go crazy like some teams did in the in the deadline up, the trade deadline and all that, and proving that you can't really do that. You can't bring in so many new faces and expect things to happen. You can win that day, but you're not winning the Stanley Cup. Let's put it that way. But they won the day because Barbashev was another one who just was fit perfectly.
Did we expect Barbashev to be a first-line player? I mean, where he was slotted in St. Louis, he's playing third line, maybe second line. I mean, this guy, look, that line of Eichel, Barbashev, and Marchessault, I know Eichel drives a lot of the play, and let's talk about his playoff. I mean, 26 points, first time in the playoffs. Could have won the Conn Smythe. Could have been Adin Hill. Glad it went to Marchessault. He was on the top of my ballot if I had a vote. I would have gone Marchessault, Eichel, Hill. But that's just me. I know a lot of people had the same thing, but again, it's what these guys did as a line. They don't work, Eichel can control play, but it doesn't become as easy without Barbashev or Marchessault putting the puck in the net.
No doubt, because you can look at some of the best centers that I can see in the league, and someone's got to get the puck, someone's got to dig, someone's got to go on the board, someone's got to go in the corner, someone's got to do all of that. Like you said, then put the puck in the net. Barbashev does it pretty well, especially the way he throws his weight around too. What a great signing. I love that guy. And thinking about what he comes at and his price, perfect. I mean, you couldn't beat that.
And the thing is, Vegas now, look, they're going to do everything in their power to keep this guy. The problem is he might get a lot of money on the open market. They're going to do their best. I mean, they have options. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Leonard, Thompson. How do you keep Adin Hill? I mean, Adin Hill had a great series, has a great playoffs, comes in, and he had 5-6 saves in game 5 that could have changed it. Anton Lundell early, Sam Reinhart had to save it a series, save it a playoffs. Nick Cousins had another great save on Matthew Tkachuk in game 4, 5 or 6 saves in game 5. This dude's going to get paid too. And you got to wonder what the Vegas Golden Knights are thinking. Maybe we try to move Thompson. Maybe we try to move Leonard's contract, try to keep this dude and just roll back Brossoit and Hill with this defense. I mean, their work is beginning now too.
Yeah, and it goes quick. I always think that these two teams, it jumps on you. All of a sudden now here we are, draft time, real close. And Adin Hill, 5x5. He's got to get it, right? 5 years, $5 million probably. Barbashev's at 2 right now.
He's going to get 4.5 easily.
Yeah, I know. So yeah,
he's going to get 4.5 easily. If he's smart and he wants to stay in Vegas, maybe he gets 4. They figure out at 4 and try to move some money someplace. I know Alec Martinez, his name is out there, potentially buyout, but I don't see them buying him out or trying to trade him because he's too valuable to that team. Again, Robert Leonard's contract, can they move that out, that $5 million, and then you sneak in Barbashev and Hill? And again, they have a lot of options. Their team isn't going to be the same, but I don't expect this team. I expect this team to be back near the top of Pacific Division again next year, just because where they are. As for Florida, hell of a run. I mean, Bobrovsky played his best. He got tired. Tkachuk, the injuries. Ekblad, Barkov, like all these guys. Look, they put a hell of a run together from January till now. Paul Maurice, hell of a coach. What these guys did. Unfortunately, it came up short, but 10 days off, too much time off. It's just, and Vegas, again, let's just say it. Vegas was a better team, and that's what I expected coming into this final.
Yeah, and Vegas would have beat Boston, Toronto, or Carolina. Vegas
Oh,
was just strong. And I mean, Florida, it's like Cinderella. Eventually it wears out. The injuries that team sustained, though, some of them, like Montour, the torn labrum, and the other guy, was it Kachuk has a broken sternum. And Ekblad had a bunch. What did he had?
Broken foot, 2 dislocated shoulders, a torn oblique. Yeah, Kachuk with a broken sternum, some shoulder issues. Like, let's talk about Kachuk. Like, we want to talk about heart and soul type guys. This dude gets injured in game 3, plays the rest of game 3 with a broken sternum and probably shoulder issues, has help getting dressed for game 4, and has 3 of the best scoring chances for Florida and almost ties the game.
Yeah. And
in limited minutes.
And thankfully they held him out in 5 because
the travel alone would have sparked something up there.
Because God only knows what could happen. He gets a hit, we've seen there's some hard hits in there. It was unbelievable. You want him on your team anytime over anyone. And there's no one I could think of I'd want more than that. I mean, the guy's just built to win. He'll win. He's gonna win someday.
He's gonna win. But I got a question for you. So I was listening to this and I was talking about with some dudes. I think the Florida Panthers are going to take a step back this year coming into this season just because of all the injuries and guys being out of lineup. What's your thoughts on that?
I kind of thought that too. I've had that discussion with a couple friends of mine myself, and I feel like they would. It's just, the goaltending situation. What are they going to do? I mean, there's a lot of question marks too there. I mean, that $10 million that Bobrovsky takes is that's a lot. And in all honesty, I don't know if anyone's worth that. And no. I do see the step back. I could see that. And there's teams coming in the East with Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. And don't forget, like, Boston's still there, Toronto, Tampa. I mean, look, you get behind the 8 ball again. It's not easy with teams improving.
Yeah, and we've even I mean, I definitely could see that because it's such like a helter-skelter thing with them. I mean, it went from being the President Trophies winner, and then this year they just barely make it on the last day. So yeah,
and not to mention teams from the other divisions too. I mean, you got to throw the Metro in the East too. I mean, because the Devils are not going anywhere, the Rangers aren't going anywhere, the Hurricanes are there. Pittsburgh, Washington, what are those? Columbus improved. The Islanders. I mean, there's a lot of teams fighting for spots here, and you can't do what you did. It's going to be tough because the injury bug. And I mean, look, Boston faced that injury bug early. We expected it, and then they come out flying. Maybe Florida does the same thing, but again, you have Spencer Knight in your system. What are you doing with Alex Line? What's the deal with Bobrovsky? Can he do that again? Do we expect him to do that again? How long is Gudas going to be out? How long is Barkov going to be out? Kachuk should be back for training camp. But again, a lot of these injuries are going to take time, and it's a different summer when you're putting work in, and it's rehab.
And it hurts when it's got to hurt when you're the team that loses the Stanley Cup final. Oh. Now you're the management, and you got to get ready. I mean, I know they're already, you know what I mean. I'm sure they're already knowing what they're trying to do in the draft wise, but then all your work starts in like 2 weeks because all of a sudden it's Canada Day, July 1st, and you lost. That's tough.
All right. I got a question for you. And Pierre LeBrun's brought this up, and a bunch of other insiders have brought this up. Can we make free agency after both holidays? Like the start of free agency, can we make it both after both holidays?
It should. I don't know why I mean, right. The 1st, the 4th. I mean, just do it on the 7th, whatever you want to do.
I know the league calendar officially starts July 1st, but why does free agency have to open that day? Like, can't everybody just have their holiday off after the draft, and then we get to work like the first the Wednesday back? All right, that's free agency.
Yeah, no, I've always felt bad for the Canadians up there. I mean, they are wanting to go to cottages and stuff, and
they all have to work. And I mean, I'm working Canada Day, so it's not like I'm doing anything that weekend. Like, but still, I mean, July 4th, everybody else has off. These guys are working, and
I know. Yeah,
it's like, can we just have it then? But I know, look, beggars can't be choosers, but we're back to a normal schedule. But still, it's a lot of work to do for both teams to get it going. So the Stanley Cup final wrapped up, and Vegas is new champs. I expect them to be back. I really do.
I do too. I don't see how that team. There's not much that could even deteriorate from it. You know what I mean? There's not much that would even. They're in great shape, and I assume they, like you said, they'll win their division. I'm trying to think as I'm going. I mean, is Edmonton? I mean, there's so many question marks, right? I mean, Edmonton,
LA. What's LA gonna do?
Yeah.
Edmonton, Seattle's definitely gonna be better.
Yeah.
What about Calgary? We know the bottom. We know who the bottoms are. We know the bottom. It's Anaheim and San Jose. We know that's the bottom.
Yeah.
Like those teams are gonna be bad. Vancouver's down there too. We know those are the 3 bottom feeders.
Winnipeg's close.
Well, Winnipeg's in the other division, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The other division, but still, I mean, in your own division, you got to deal with Calgary. Calgary's only a point behind Florida, who made this run. And again, if Pittsburgh can find a way to win games like Calgary's in the Winnipeg spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. They're in there. I always forget that Winnipeg's over on that other side, but I mean, yeah, Calgary's an interesting one. That's going to be good point. I mean, I don't even know what to think of them, to tell you the truth.
It's the division. I mean, I think it's Vegas and Edmonton and everybody else. I mean,
yeah.
Now, LA's got to work on getting a goalie. I mean, they have one goalie signed. You have Phoenix Copley there. Doesn't sound like Korpisalo's coming back. They're in the hunt for Hellebuck, and they're going to want to improve a little bit offensively too, because you're going to be running the Oilers again. So you got to get past it. You got to get past Edmonton.
Yeah, and Edmonton's got to figure out their defense. I mean, they got some work to do.
They got a lot of work to do up there.
Yeah, so they got the guy. I mean, and they're going to get nervous, sort of like Toronto did, because obviously Connor McDavid comes around sooner than you want to not be getting knocked out too quick. So they got to do something to make him want to stay.
Well, speaking of staying and doing something, the Devils are taking care of business. They freed up money. Obviously, David Severson is traded to Columbus. Columbus is redoing their defensive pairings. They bring in Provorov, obviously with Mike Babcock as a coach, but the Devils signed Jesper Bratt to a new 8-year extension. They get him under Jack Hughes in that salary hierarchy at $7.875. Great contract. This kid's only going to get better. Again, he might have peaked, but you don't know. But again, if the cap's going up, it's going to be a value contract like Jack Hughes' contract. But again, look at what Tom Fitzgerald is doing. He wants that salary hierarchy. He basically told Bratt and his team, he's like, look, every player can't get every piece of crumb available. They can't get every dollar made available to them because we're trying to build a team here. We need depth players as well. We're trying to build a winning team here. He's not trying to take a shot at Toronto, but that's the facts. If you look at Boston, what those teams do, Tampa, guys take less money to stay and want to win. And Bratt understands that. And Bratt come out and was the first guy to say, hey, look, my playoff performance, it wasn't great. I know I need to be better there. That's where my team needs to score goals. That's where I need to score goals for my team.
Great contract for the rest of the league. Great contract for, to set the tone, I think, as far as a young guy like that, as good as he is. I loved it when I saw it, being a Leaf fan. I'm like, okay, this is good. At least they didn't give him like 9.8 or something crazy, or 9 million.
They were never going to do that, by the way. They were never going to go over Jack Hughes for him. Never.
It's perfect, and it's good for the league. It was good. It was perfect. That's the first thing I thought of. This is good. This is good to have that deal, the smart deal. Now everyone can build off of that, hopefully, and not extend themselves.
Right? Exactly. Don't overextend yourself. Now they got to work on Timo Meier. I think that's coming. It's good to hear that Meier and guys like that want to stay in New Jersey. He wants to stay. He's told Claude Lemieux, his agent, I want an 8-year contract. He wants to stay in New Jersey. The AAV is going to be the issue. Do they just go over Jack Hughes? I know they want to have Hughes as the top end guy, but they may have to force Meier to be that guy that goes over, So who knows? We'll see what happens there. But look, I think that deal's getting done before the draft. I really do. I don't think that's going to linger into the draft and before free agency. I think that's going to get done. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets done next week. I really wouldn't be shocked if it gets announced next week.
And he is such a dominating player in my mind. I mean, he comes and, he needed time to get adjusted. How quick that is. You got to get going. And next year you'll really see the best of him, I think, too. You know, and I don't even think they saw the best of him yet.
No, they didn't. I mean, look, he scored first goal, first game, but again, he's adjusting to a new system there. Now he's got a summer. Your training camp with Lindy Ruff, understanding what Ruff wants. He'll be fine. The Devils will be fine. And that, look, come July 1, they also can start talking about Dawson Mercer and what his next contract's going to look like. If they can get him locked up long-term he's on an ELC. I expect him to get probably, I don't even think they're going to try to bridge him. I think they're probably going to go 8 years, maybe around 4.5. I think that's the smart play.
It is.
Just because he's only going to get better, and you do him 8 years now, he has a chance to get another contract down the road anyway. So he's that young, and if you get him at that value, you're fine.
Oh, that's great. They're setting it up very well. I mean, I said it in one of our shows before. I mean, Brad Marchand said it, a shot directly at Toronto, man. You got to take less if you want to win. And when less is meaning like not a huge cut. You're talking like $1 million, maybe. You say
leave it on the table. Leave money on the table.
Yep.
Like you want, say we're playing, right? And I want 8, but in order for my team to win, I may have to take 7. And I'm okay with that. If we're winning, like that's okay. And I think that's what guys are understanding what Tom Fitzgerald's trying to do in New Jersey. Obviously, McLeod, Bastian, guys like that, those are RFAs. It's going to be interesting to do with Blackwood. Doesn't sound like they're going to bring him back. They're going to have to move him or, probably not qualify him. I think if they can't trade him, they're not going to qualify him. And I think Sharon Govich seems like he's going to be an odd man out too because Holtz is in the system. You got Foote. You have guys that can fill roles like that. It's going to be interesting what Eric Holla gets. I think he gets around. I think he gets 3 times 3. I really do. I think he gets 3 times 3, maybe 3.5. And I think they'll be okay with that.
I like him. Yeah, they would be. They are doing a great job. I mean, everyone, you should be happy. Devils fans should be happy with what they're setting up here. Timo Meier was I just said it.
Best addition. Best addition. Well, outside of Barbashev, because Barbashev won a Stanley Cup, but.
Right. Meier, though, I just know what I say. He's a physical presence along with everything else. He would have
been a good fit for Toronto, but I don't think they would be able to work him in.
No chance. No chance. You can't.
No. And, look, the Devils have some other work to do. They're probably going to try to add a depth defenseman, or they just roll with Nemec and Hughes in the lineup because Graves is probably gone. But, look, Devils are doing things the right way, similar to how other organizations do things. And there's a lot of chatter around them. There's a lot of chatter around the league. Obviously, it seems like Austin Matthews is going to re-sign in Toronto, and it seems like the Leafs are pushing for an 8-year deal.
And I think it's going to be 5. For some reason, I don't see 8. I hope he does. And it would be a great sign. I
think that's the stand. I think if they can get him to 8 years if it's 8 years and they give him 14, I'm okay with it because it's 8 years and the cap's going to go up.
Yeah. He could be such a hero if he went 8 years at like 13-2 or 13-3.
13-3. You're a hero. You set the standard for everybody else now.
They might make a parade for him. I mean, that's all. They need that. They need that from him. If he holds them, I mean, it'll say a lot about him. I guess it'll answer a lot of questions of what he's there for.
Right.
If he wants 14.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But it sounds like he's gonna re-sign with Toronto. The question is now Marner, Nylander. Well, obviously Tavares is probably not going to go anywhere, but he's going to shift to the wing. Yeah, Marner. I don't think Brad Treliving is going to want to trade him because he values Marner, and he was trying to acquire him when he was in Calgary. So he's probably off the table, which leaves William Nylander as the odd man out. And it seems like Nylander's been the odd man out since day one.
I know, and I watching all of it, the Leafs for all their games and stuff. There are times where he's frustrating for sure, but then in the playoffs, he performs well. I mean, that's what you want, really. And what's he sitting at? Like 7 right now? I can't.
No, 6 something.
6 something, right? 6.5, 6.7.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to be at 9 coming up. I would guess.
I mean, easily he can get 9. He can get 9 if he wants it.
With Brad at 7-8. That's a good, you know what I mean now. So
good comparable. You have other guys like Fiala's around that marker, Caulfield's around that marker, Suzuki's around that marker. I mean, you could say, hey, Nylander, look, these are the guys you're comparables to. If they give him 8, that's fine.
Can I say something real quick on a whole nother note with Leaf related? Kyle Dubas, I don't understand why he's being made out to be such the great GM of all time. You know, the way he's being heralded, it seems like these contracts are his. He did all of this.
Well, I mean, I'm not hearing that. I think he did some good things, but if you listen to a lot of people recently, especially with the Matt Murray stuff, because he really handcuffed this Toronto Maple Leafs team bringing in Murray with that contract.
Yeah, they got to get it out of there, and I don't know how they do it. I just think that when he said when it was time to renegotiate these guys, the core four or whatever, he had said it will happen. I forgot how he said it. That it's going to happen because everyone thought you couldn't do it, you can't do it, and he said it will or whatever. He made some kind of statement, and he did. And Marner held him hostage. I mean, it was really
Nylander held him hostage.
Yeah.
The only guy that didn't hold him hostage was Matthews.
Yeah. I mean, Marner was bad, and Marner was surprising because of his, you know, where he comes from in Toronto. Right. He's a Toronto guy, and he held them to he wanted every penny.
Well, that's the problem.
Forgot that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
you can't do that.
They can't advance.
That's why they can't advance. Look, again, I will say this till I love the player. I've always been a John Tavares guy. I love this player. That signing hampered this team from upgrading on defense and upgrading goaltending. Think about it, $11 million. The offense was really fun, and he was supposed to be brought in as a difference maker. Yes, he's done well. I give him that. He hasn't been the difference maker people thought he would be in the playoffs. Yes, he got him. He got the game-winning goal. Yes, they advanced to the second round. All well and good. But that $11 million could have been used elsewhere to upgrade this team, because if you just had Nylander, Matthews, and Marner,
you're good.
You're still fine. You're still fine.
Yeah. I mean, what was that? That was a Lou Lamoriello, I think.
No, that was Dubas.
Was it Dubas, the 11
That
million?
was Dubas.
That wasn't Lou? All right. So it's Dubas. He brings him in at 11. Remember, they didn't even make him captain. It was kind of weird. I thought he'd be captain instantly. It took almost a year and a half to make him a captain, which was odd. And I forgot who brought that up the other day on the radio. And I was like, yeah, that was odd. Why wasn't he captain right away? So now you're wondering all of that. There's so much. I mean, this is a team that shouldn't be in disarray. And it is because of the $11 million tied up in him. Right. It really is. It's all there. And I feel bad, too, because it's certainly not his fault. They're the one who gave it to him. They were supposed to have been in a Stanley Cup final by now. And this would have been like just great. You know, this is just the 2 years we got to deal with Tavares because we already won. And of course.
But again, look, goaltending and defense is like the Oilers. Defensively, this team is not good enough to win in the playoffs. Look, they had chances. They did things great, all well and good. And again, the top guys did. I don't really want to include Austin Matthews in that, but I will, because again, when it mattered most, these guys went away and they didn't score and all this stuff. And you know what? Toronto has some serious soul searching they need to do. Brad Treliving is going to look over this team. If you bring Sheldon Keefe back, fine, but then you may only have one more hire. And look, there's a lot of questions around this team, what they have to do, what they need, where they can go, because they need to clear cap space, and it starts with Matt Murray.
They have like 7 players, I think, right now, 7 forwards,
signed.
And that's, I mean, there's trouble. I mean, so I don't know. They don't have a number one defenseman. I love Morgan Riley, but he's probably 1B to a 1A somewhere.
Yeah.
They've never been able to bring that guy in like that because of Tavares, what you said. Boy, I mean, they're going to lose quite a bit of their defense too, even though I don't really mind Justin Hull being on his way, but still, I mean.
But guy like Luke Shen, who's pretty good, he could be a depth player. New Jersey's looking at him. I mean, you're losing pretty good guys, and I think, to be honest, I think they did too much at the deadline.
Yes.
Like bringing in O'Reilly, fine. I don't mind that. Like that was good with
Chari they brought with them.
Yeah, Chari, that's fine. You want to bring in McCabe? Okay, that's good too. Whatever, with Lafferty. Okay, that's fine. They should have stopped there.
Right.
Because you didn't need to trade Rasmus Sandin.
No, and you get Eric Gustafson, who I don't. I mean, in a certain place, in a certain time, whatever team, a better, different situation. I mean, he's a guy for $800,000 that can get you 45 points.
Right.
And be on the power play. But for that Leaf team, that was unnecessary because they have the power play set up. Yeah, that was foolish, and it was just a panic. There was a lot of panic I felt in the Leafs and you saw it in Kyle Dubas's reactions where he showed. And I guess he is a very volatile guy, but you never saw it, and he just showed it.
And now he's got to do that in Pittsburgh. He's got tough decisions to make there.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Goalie, how are they going to bring it? You have goalies like Hellebuck. You have Gibson. Is Gibson going to come there? You have Soros on the block. Like New Jersey could be in on those guys. And another name that we haven't really brought up, DeBrincat out of Ottawa, looks like he's going to be on the market. I mean, look, he could go some places and, do some damage. And if Ottawa can get some nice assets for him, I mean, the thing for me is he really needs to look at the situation and realize that this Ottawa Senators team is not that far away from actually doing damage. And I understand he's like, well, my role was different and this and that, but you're not playing with Patrick Kane. It's a different system, and it takes guys time to adjust to their new surroundings. He didn't have a bad year, but if he doesn't want to be in Ottawa, that's fine. Get assets for him, for guys that can play now, because this Senators team is ready to rock and roll. And I think one of those assets needs to be a goaltender if you're going to trade him.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about it. They're ready. I think we said it earlier. Them, Buffalo, and Detroit feel like they're
another option for DeBrincat too. He could go to Detroit.
Let me ask you something on Hellebuck. I saw his agent was saying $9.5 million is what they want.
That's Vasilevsky. That's Vasilevsky.
He's pricing himself out. I don't know where that. He's not going to New Jersey
at 31. Was he 31? Yeah. Right, 31 at 9.5. No, thank you. No, he's not going to New Jersey. And I heard Soros, they're looking for like 2 firsts and 2 guys that can play now. Dude, he is not. UC Soros is not that type of player. He's not even a top 5 goaltender on my board. He's not.
Right.
Like I can give you 5 guys right now that are ahead of him.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky's one of them. Shesterkin's the other one. Sorokin's the other guy. Right. Hellebuck's in front of him.
Yeah. Definitely.
And Ottinger.
Yeah.
And I might throw Demko in front of him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's unbelievable what they're saying, and I thought Hellebuck, when I hear 9.5, what team is it that he's wanting to be at? Because we know it is. We know the ones that can't be. I mean, it's LA. I mean, who's going to do that? I don't know.
And again, talking with Dennis Bernstein, 4th period, it's like, do they take a shot at it, or they go another direction for a cheaper option and build their defense and go that way? But they need to get a save because Korpisalo gave up some bad goals to Edmonton, especially in Game 4, that cost them the series.
Yeah, and I was surprised.
What about this one for you? This is Fantasy GM. And we don't know what the Oilers are thinking. How do we see, how do they view Jack Campbell? Because, look, they didn't play him with the season on the line. Does he reunite in Edmonton? I mean, reunite in LA?
That'd be interesting.
Is that an option?
It would be. It should be. Campbell, what a shit. Jeez, he's a better version of, I remember James Reimer. He's a better version of Reimer, no doubt. And
I mean, he got going in LA under Bill Ranford.
I know. And Toronto really didn't have to run. But they end up running him out because they're afraid of the 5-5 because of back to the 11 million.
They wanted to go 4-5.
Yeah, and they didn't keep him. So I mean, yeah, could you imagine back to LA? Sure, he deserves to start. I don't know what Edmonton.
I don't know what Edmonton was thinking. We can dissect that second round series all we want, but again, I think he needed to start the final 2 games of that series. He really needed to, because he saved the Edmonton Oilers season in round 1 against LA in period 2. He did, straight up, and he didn't see another game. And
I'll tell you, in Toronto against Tampa, he was good. It wasn't his fault they lost to Tampa that year because the Leafs couldn't score on the power play. They lose 2-1. They're losing the game. So he was very good.
All right, how would you feel about Wall and Samsonov coming back as your goalies?
I like Wall a lot. I think Wall, maybe he's an Ottinger type. I don't know. I like Wall. I'm good with Wall. I probably that's going to be what they have to do. I don't
Right.
know if they even have an option. I mean,
Right.
Wall. It's about. I said this before. I mean, the last goalie they developed, I think, was Felix Potvin. So I mean, would be really nice if you could get that actual, 3-year Brit thing. You got a nice contract with Wall, and he becomes the starter. It doesn't happen for Toronto ever. I'm okay with Samsonov too. He's, you know what it is. And it's funny when you watch the two goalies. I'm not a goalie, so this is just an observation. You probably get a better thought of this. Samsonov sometimes feels like he's all over the place. He could be outside the post. I don't know where he is. He could be
Right.
all over. Whereas the other guy, Wall, is just, and I say quiet. He's just it's just like, all right, I'm going to catch the puck. I'm going to hold the rebound. I'm not going to,
Yeah.
nothing major. So I like Wall a lot.
Yeah, I like Wall. I think that's a good combination for them. It's going to be very, very interesting because there's a lot of guys out there. You got Bertuzzi for Boston, Orlov's up there, Barbashev, those guys, there's going to be a lot of guys that are, could be getting paid, moving on. The free agency class is not as good as it was. Obviously we know Boston, Krejci, Bergeron got to take time. But, a lot of teams up against the cap because it doesn't move up that much. I feel like there's going to be a lot of action this year.
Yeah, I do too. I feel there is. And I looked at I got the list in front of me because I was looking at it earlier, and there's some names on there, though. They're going to have to take a little bit of a little haircut, but they're still good players. I mean,
Right.
I look at Alex Killorn. I'm a big fan. I like him a lot. I mean, in Toronto, it would be perfect, or maybe somewhere else. I mean, he's a good performer. I enjoy watching him play. He's tough. There's a guy like Max Domi. He makes like $2 or $3 million a year. He ended up being the number 2 center, right, with Dallas there for a
Yeah.
little bit.
And he wants to stay in Dallas.
Yeah,
But they're
I
up
mean,
against the cap, and they have a bad contract with Ryan Suter.
yep. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting offseason with this because I'm seeing players on the list that you're just like, where does a guy like JVR? Perfect example. Here's a guy he's at $7 million a year. He's still going to play, but he's not playing for 7. So what's
No,
he
he's
going to?
not playing.
He
He's
comes
gonna
back for
he
2
like at $1 million, maybe
million. Yeah,
million.
that's what I
That's
mean.
it.
But these guys still have something to give, I believe.
Right. And like, look, Colorado's going to need a second line center. They're probably going to have to trade for one. Are they going to be able to keep JT Compher? But he's not a second line center. Where's Kevin Hayes going to get traded to? Where's Adam Henrique going to go? Like guys like that, again, Colorado could have addressed this at the trade deadline and didn't do it. So
Let me ask you something, and this is Maple Leaf land again.
right.
And this is because I have no idea what to think of this guy because I think he was blessed, and this could be fool's gold. Michael Bunting was at $900,000 a year. He's 26, 27. He played with the greatest players you can play with. In Arizona, he couldn't even make. It was just an incredible. That was a great move, obviously, by Dubas. What is he gonna? I can't see anybody doing much.
I would give him 2.5.
That's what I'm thinking. But
Two,
he's
two
got to
and a
be
half,
thinking.
maybe most 3. But again, where's he going? How's he fitting in? Look, we didn't even touch on Pierre-Luc Dubois in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Like, where's he going to go? Like, who can make that deal? What assets do they want to give up? How about if Mark Scheifele's on? I think Winnipeg really needs to get the attitude out of that room and start fresh. Obviously, Wheeler's probably going to get bought out, but then you have Hellebuck and you have Pierre-Luc Dubois. And if you can get the right assets for those guys, that retool and rebuild can get turned around real quickly.
And I kind of feel yes, and absolutely, I like Scheifele a lot too. I can't wait to see him in a different spot, in a different place.
I mean, maybe they figure out if they can keep him. Maybe you move out Wheeler, you keep Connor, you keep those guys. But again, you got to have the guys that want to play there. And unfortunately, Winnipeg's not one of those places guys want to go, but they're going to have to change that. And they've done pretty okay, but I think their window was 2018 and they didn't win.
And now they got a goaltending issue. So that'll be interesting to see what they do there.
And they're probably, if they trade Hellebuck, they're going to get a goalie in return because they need it.
Yeah.
The offseason, the silly season is going to be awesome. And, we're going to be here with you guys.
I miss hockey, though. It's a Saturday night with no hockey right now. Little sad.
It's a little sad, no hockey on, but it's okay. I think we all need a little break from it.
Yeah.
Long season, fun season. Glad to be starting this Let's Talk Pucks program back up with you, John. And we'll be back again real soon, talk more crazy offseason stuff with the silly season around, the draft, free agency, all that stuff. And we'll be cooking up some things for you. Don't worry about it.
Can't wait.
Absolutely. This has been Let's Talk Pucks. I've been your host, Jim Biringer, John Restino. Hope everybody has a great weekend and enjoy the offseason.